Most World Cups come and go. A few unforgettable matches, a few breakout stars, a champion lifts the trophy, and then football moves on. But the 2026 World Cup is different, because for the United States, this tournament isn't just about winning games. It's about proving whether American soccer has athletes in the world, world-class facilities, billions invested into sports. And yet, when the biggest football nations are mentioned, the conversation still starts with Brazil, Argentina, Germany, France, Spain, and England, not America. And that's what makes 2026 so important. Because for the first time in history, the United States isn't simply participating in a World Cup. It's hosting one, and what happens during those few weeks could shape the future of American soccer for decades. But here's the surprising part. The most important thing isn't whether the USMNT wins the World Cup. It's something much bigger. Let's explain. Problem reframe. Most fans think the success of the USMNT in 2026 will be measured by one thing: how far they go. Quarterfinals, semifinals, maybe even a miracle run to the final. But that's only part of the story, because countries don't become football powers overnight. Brazil didn't, Germany didn't, Spain didn't. Their success was built through generations, culture, identity, infrastructure, belief. And that's where many people misunderstand the challenge facing American soccer. The real battle isn't happening only on the field, it's happening in living rooms, schools, youth clubs, communities, and among millions of kids deciding which sport they want to play. The World Cup isn't just a tournament, it's an advertisement. The biggest advertisement football has ever had in the United States. And that's why 2026 matters more than any result. Hidden cause. Here's the hidden reason American soccer has struggled to fully break through. Not talent, not facilities, not population. Attention. For decades, soccer in America has competed against giants. The NFL, NBA, MLB, college football, college basketball, sports deeply connected to American culture. When a talented athlete grows up in Brazil, football is often the dream. When a talented athlete grows up in America, there are multiple dreams competing for attention, and attention changes everything, because attention creates participation, participation creates talent, talent creates stars, stars create belief, and belief creates football nations. That's why 2026 is potentially a once-in-a-generation opportunity, because millions of people who normally don't watch soccer will suddenly be watching. Kids who have never cared about the sport will see packed stadiums. Families who usually watch football or basketball will experience World Cup drama. Future players may discover the game for the first time. The real prize isn't lifting the trophy. The real prize is capturing a generation. Main framework, Lesson 1. The USMNT doesn't need to win the World Cup. This sounds crazy, but it's true. Let's look at history. When the United States hosted the 1994 World Cup, they didn't win. They didn't even come close. Yet that tournament transformed soccer in America. Attendance records were broken, interest exploded, and shortly afterward, MLS was launched. One tournament helped create an entire professional ecosystem. Now imagine what happens if the 2026 USMNT reaches the quarterfinals or semifinals. The exposure would be enormous. Young fans wouldn't remember the exact scorelines. They would remember the feeling, the excitement, the possibility, and emotions are what create lifelong supporters. That's why success in 2026 isn't necessarily measured by trophies. It's measured by inspiration. Lesson 2. This is the most talented American generation ever. One reason expectations are so high is because the talent pool looks different than it did 20 years ago. American players are no longer staying only in domestic leagues. Many are developing in elite European environments. They're competing against world-class players every week. They're gaining tactical education earlier. They're becoming more comfortable under pressure. And perhaps most importantly, they no longer enter tournaments hoping to survive. They enter believing they belong. That psychological shift matters. Football history is filled with teams that achieved breakthroughs only after changing how they viewed themselves. Before you beat giants, you must believe giants can be beaten. The USMNT is closer to that mindset than ever before. Lesson 3. Home advantage is real. Fans often underestimate how powerful hosting can be. Familiar environments, supportive crowds, reduced travel stress, national momentum, all of it matters. Football is emotional. Players aren't robots. Energy influences perfo. Confidence influences decisions. And momentum influences tournaments. We've seen host nations outperform expectations throughout football history. The United States will have an opportunity few teams ever receive. The question is whether they can use it. Lesson 4. One great tournament can change everything. Most people think football growth happens slowly. Sometimes it does, but occasionally a single moment changes everything. Think about a kid watching from home. Maybe they're 10 years old. Maybe they normally watch American football. Then they see a dramatic USMNT knockout victory. A packed stadium, national celebrations, players becoming heroes. That moment could influence the next 10 years of their life. Multiply that by millions. That's how football cultures grow. Not through spreadsheets, through unforgettable moments. And 2026 has the potential to create more unforgettable moments than any event in American soccer history. Lesson 5. The world is watching. This isn't just about America. The entire football world will be paying attention. For years, critics have questioned whether soccer can truly become a major force in the United States. 2026 is America's opportunity to answer that question. Every packed stadium, every television rating, every dramatic match, every passionate crowd will send a message. The message is simple. Soccer isn't trying to become part of American sports culture anymore. It already is. Practical application. So what should fans actually watch for during the tournament? First, watch the atmosphere. Are stadiums full? Are casual fans engaged? Are new supporters being created? Second, watch the reaction outside the games. Social media, mainstream sports coverage, conversations among people who normally ignore soccer. Third, watch the next generation. After major tournaments, youth participation often increases. That's where the long-term impact appears. Finally, watch belief. Because football development isn't only physical, it's psychological. The moment a country truly believes it belongs among football's elite, everything changes. Identity level close. Years from now, people may look back at 2026 as the moment American soccer crossed a line. Not because the USMNT won the World Cup, not because they produced a perfect tournament, but because millions of people saw what the sport could become. Every football nation has defining moments. Moments where belief becomes reality. Moments where a sport stops being a possibility and becomes part of a country's identity. For the United States, 2026 might be that moment. And that's why this isn't just another World Cup. It's a test, a launch pad, an opportunity, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something much bigger than football. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more USMNT analysis, World Cup stories, and deep dives into the future of American soccer, because the road to 2026 is only getting started.